What's up everybody? Nate here. So over the last 8 to 9 months or so, the entire cryptocurrency market has essentially collapsed. Bitcoin and Ethereum both hit record highs back in November of 2021, but are now nearly down 50% from those record highs. There has been a lot that has happened in the cryptocurrency market, and people have been wondering if it's a safe investment, if it's legit, or if it's actually going to protect you against inflation like a lot of people thought it would. Now, a crash is not something that necessarily has to happen in an economy for things to basically go back to normal. A crash is what happens when there is a lot of bad things going on in a particular market or in a particular country. But when we talk about this particular cryptocurrency crash, well, I'm actually glad that it's crashing. Today, I want to talk about why I'm glad the cryptocurrency market is crashing right now and why I think that's actually going to lead to something a lot better for cryptocurrency in the future. But before I get into all of that, do me a quick favor and hit smash or destroy that thumbs up button below and ring that notification bell too. Both of those two things are completely free and they help to show me that you like this video and that you want to see even more just like it. Thank you so much for doing that. And now I want to talk about the historical event of crashes within markets. Typically, you have market cycles in every single economy and in every single market. So this goes for the stock market, the housing market, commodities, and now cryptocurrency. There is going to be a wave of times where everything is going amazing, everybody's pouring money in, and of course, times that are bad. Money is coming out, everything is crashing, and coins and businesses are starting to disappear. Now, a lot of economists believe that a crash is necessary for an economy. Elon Musk actually came out and said that economic crashes and recessions like we might be facing in 2022 is actually really helpful, and this is a good thing in general. What an economic crash does, or what a market crash does, is actually delete a lot of bad assets. So when you have really good times of economic prosperity and markets where they're at their absolute high, a lot of people would call that a bull market where money is just pouring in without reason. Well, investors typically get really risky and they start putting their money behind everything under the sun. We have seen this time and time again with the stock market. Now, I'm not going to focus on the entire history of the stock market, but I do want to point you to a couple of the major times this has happened in history, particularly in 2001 and in 2022. In 2001, we had something known as the dot-com bubble. So the internet was just becoming a really major and mainstream thing for every single American, and we had businesses that were starting to pop up out of nowhere. All of these businesses basically just slapped .com at the end of their name, and they were suddenly valued at hundreds of billions of dollars at their IPO launch on the stock market. It was a growing industry and people saw it as a unicorn. There was no way that this was going to fail because the internet is so huge and it's so new. Well, eventually it did fail. We found out that a good portion of these businesses didn't have any good fundamentals, weren't profitable, and basically were just working out of a shed in their backyard. They weren't real businesses, and because of that, they were losing a ton of money. They didn't have any sales, they didn't have any clients, all they did was have a website. A website alone is not going to make you money. So that led to a complete stock market crash. Businesses who had equity in these .com companies and investors in general started to pull all of their money out. And because so much money came out so quickly, that led to a bear market where you have way more sellers than you have buyers, and the stock market crashed from there. Now, this is a really important parallel that you need to make between that .com bubble and what is going on today in the cryptocurrency market, because the cryptocurrency market is actually very similar. You see, back during the 2001 crash, all of these businesses that were bad and lost investor interest, well, they disappeared. They were bad and they shouldn't have gotten that much excitement and hype to begin with, so they hit the road. They don't exist anymore. But the important thing is that the entire internet and websites in general still very much exist. The platform and the idea of the internet carried on because that was a really good idea. People were excited about that. People wanted to put more money into that, and eventually the companies that did survive, particularly Amazon and some other big names, well, they ended up becoming $1 trillion dollar names. That's because they were actually good companies. They had good fundamentals, they had good ideas, and they had a solid business plan. A lot of what happened back then is now happening in 2022 with cryptocurrency. And of course, we are seeing a very similar thing on the stock market too. A lot of these businesses that launched as an IPO, well, a lot of them happen to be tech companies again, but they are going to disappear. They are going to go into bankruptcy or get swallowed up by a bigger name because they just don't make a profit and they don't have a solid business plan. How exactly does this relate to cryptocurrency? Well, cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is an amazing revolutionary idea. I think that some coins on the market right now are awesome and serve a really good purpose for users and the world in general. Cryptocurrency came with the idea that it's a decentralized medium of exchange between person to person. So governments weren't going to control it. Businesses weren't going to control it. It was all for the people. A currency built by the people for the people. This means that it subverts a lot of things that traditional currencies have been plagued with over the last 100 to 200 years, like inflation. For instance, the United States can print as much money as they want, and they have proved to do this time and time again. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, and actually just before the pandemic in January of 2020, well, the United States had around $3 to $4 trillion in circulation. By 2022, we now have over $20 trillion in circulation, and 80% of all of the money, meaning 80% of all US dollars, were printed over the last 2 or 3 years. That has led to inflation problems, like inflation is now at an over 40-year high, and now, of course, stagflation, where your economy is shrinking, but inflation just keeps going up. We have way too much money and way too much demand. The Federal Reserve now has to eliminate a lot of that. We have some problems with our economy, and hopefully we can solve them soon. But cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, the world's most valuable crypto, doesn't have those problems. It can protect you against inflation because only so many Bitcoins can be produced. Only 21 million Bitcoins can be created. That's it. Once you have that many, the blockchain will literally not let any miners create any more cryptocurrency. This is a little bit different than Ethereum, which can be mined as many times as possible, but Ethereum also has a really different purpose. Its blockchain technology is completely different than Bitcoin's. Bitcoin was kind of meant to be, one, a store of value, but then two, an actual currency that you can go out and spend. Basically, it was reverting us back to the golden times when the United States was on the gold standard. You would have this Bitcoin, but it kind of was like a digital piece of gold. People want gold, and people are always going to want it because it has inherent value. So as long as people continue to want it, it's going to have that value. It takes time, money, and energy to mine gold. The same can be said for cryptocurrency. So there are a lot of awesome uses for cryptocurrency in today's world. It has the same value everywhere around the world. You don't have to exchange it for traditional currencies, and of course, you don't have to hold all that money in your pocket. But now here's where things get kind of bad. So cryptocurrency was built on all of these awesome ideals, but the problem with cryptocurrency is it's still a super new market, and that has meant that a lot of bad things and poison has flooded into the cryptocurrency market. Number one of the great things about cryptocurrency is that anybody can create a crypto. Remember, it's peer-to-peer. Bitcoin is the biggest, but that doesn't mean it always will be. So somebody else can create a cryptocurrency with the same technology and blockchain of Bitcoin and actually make a better crypto, one that fits today's needs. But also, this means that anybody in the world can create a cryptocurrency and make it seem like this is going to be the next biggest thing. Well, that has meant that tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies have been created, and most of them are not good. A lot of them have no real value. They have no practical use. They're just a cryptocurrency, and you buy them and you don't really get anything out of them. Scammers have entered the market and have put up all of these cryptocurrencies that they're going to be the next big thing and push people to buy them only to take all of the money that has been poured into them. And like I said, because cryptocurrencies are all open source, meaning all of the coding and technology in order to create them is public knowledge, well, anybody can make one. Over the last 2 years, millions of people have entered the cryptocurrency market hoping that they can, one, get rich quick or protect themselves from all of these traditional money problems. Well, a lot of them don't know what they're really doing, and they're putting their money behind all of these cryptocurrencies that are going to make them broke. They're getting scammed and they're getting tricked, and it's not their fault. This is another benefit of crypto, that anybody can invest in it no matter what your education level is. But it also means that people are losing a lot of money and are now getting scared of crypto in general. Part of the reason why we have seen crypto crash over the last year or so. But the second big problem with cryptocurrency is it's completely unregulated, meaning scams and hacks take place and there's not really much recourse that people can take. Governments around the world, including the United States government, are looking into new ways to regulate cryptocurrency, but that has been difficult because they really can't even define what a cryptocurrency is yet. I mean, is it a store of value like gold, or is it something that you can go out and spend? Because those two things are very different. I mean, I can't walk into a store right now and take a chunk of gold and try and buy something. I mean, maybe in certain places I can, but in the United States, that's going to be few and far between. So state legislatures and the United States government are having a really hard time just defining that. And if they can't define that, then they can't figure out how to actually regulate it. There is a bill floating around Congress right now that would actually create a task force to monitor and regulate cryptocurrencies and commodities. It's called CFTC, or the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Now, the CFTC has been around for a little while regarding gold and other commodities, but now cryptocurrency would come under all of that oversight. Before this point, though, cryptocurrency really hasn't been regulated, so people would lose money, people would get scammed or hacked, and exchanges and the government didn't really know what to do other than just go after the hackers. Of course, a lot of them will insure your money on these exchanges, but they won't insure your cryptocurrency. So the asset that you're actually investing in, well, that might be lost forever. Of course, you might get your money back, but that's not really going to help you if you want to invest in Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin limit has been reached. You can't go out and buy more Bitcoin because there's just no more left to buy. So you have all of this money, but the reason you invested in crypto in the first place is to subvert those traditional dollars. Those two issues have been a huge problem plaguing the cryptocurrency industry, and it's part of the reason why crypto is crashing right now, along with a lot of other reasons related to our federal government and the Federal Reserve. And I could say more here. There are a lot of other issues with cryptocurrency. There are a lot of other benefits to crypto, but what I think is really important for people to understand is that we are going through a transition period in our economy right now, and crypto is doing that too. The cryptocurrency market is crashing. What that could potentially mean is a lot of these bad assets disappear from the cryptocurrency market, and you're only left with the ones that are actually good, the ones that have good fundamentals that are practically useful in our society today. With only those remaining, well, people are going to be able to invest in just good crypto assets. This could make the cryptocurrency market a whole lot stronger, eliminating a lot of those bad assets. A lot of the scams and hackers out there are going to disappear. We have seen this with every single market in human history, and now it's happening to the cryptocurrency market. This is really nothing new. That has me really excited because, like what we saw in 2001, the internet still survives. Cryptocurrency is going to survive this crash. What's not going to survive is the bad asset classes. Cryptocurrency as an idea is awesome, and we're going to continue to see new innovation and new technologies come out, but the bad things need to go away. And the only two ways to do that is, one, through policy changes from a government, but also from an outright crash. Policy changes are going to be really difficult for the cryptocurrency market because exchanges and investors don't want that much government regulation. That kind of takes away the entire purpose of cryptocurrency in general, adding taxes to them, defining them as certain things, but it has to happen for the entire market to mature. So that is not going to stop, and that's only going to increase in the United States. But like I said, technology and also the software, and cryptocurrency is going to advance too, along with all of those bad assets eventually disappearing. And just to be clear here, this is going to happen multiple times. The cryptocurrency market is probably going to crash again in the future for a lot of different reasons. Remember, no two crashes are the same. And once that happens, investors won't get greedy anymore. They'll start investing in stable assets in that market, things that are proven and are really good. And again, people will come back to it. I have stopped investing in cryptocurrency completely because the market is just way too crazy right now. It's heavily volatile and there's a lot of bad assets out there. I'm kind of waiting to see what is going to become the cryptocurrency asset. Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be Ethereum, Dogecoin, NFTs, whatever? I want to continue to invest in those assets, but I don't want to lose money in the short term and I don't want to lose money in the future by just pouring money into something that's unproven today. A lot of other investors are in the exact same boat, but I think there is a lot of promise when it comes to cryptocurrency. And I think we're going to continue to see an expansion because it's important that we have crypto as a society. So I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, but I do see some massive shifts coming up and that has me really excited. But in the short term, we're going to continue to see a very bumpy road for cryptocurrency as it's still a very new asset. I mean, the stock market's been around for well over 100 years. Crypto basically came around when Bitcoin was launched back in 2009, so it has a long way to go. But now I want to hear from you on this issue. What do you think about cryptocurrency essentially crashing? Do you think that this is a great thing for the market in general because all of the bad assets are going to be deleted? Or do you think this is a bad thing? This cryptocurrency crash is going to just delete crypto from the face of the earth and it's basically going to disappear. Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below before you go. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with all the top business and financial news from around the country, our team puts together a free daily newsletter and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in this corner right here. And if you want to stay up to date with me and everything else happening in the business and financial world, I'm putting out updates 7 days a week over here on this channel, and I've actually got another one ready for you right here, so be sure to check that out before you go. That is it for me, everybody. Be kind out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.